Well, this afternoon I'm joined by Dean from the Bureau of Meteorology and also the Commissioner for the SES, Carleen York. Today we've continued to see rainfall here in the Sydney area. That situation is now escalating. We've actually seen rainfall continue through the whole day. It is expected to continue throughout the night and even into tomorrow. This is our worst fears. We are seeing the situation getting worse, and it will get worse before it actually gets better. If you're affected by the floods in March of 2021, then you are asked to leave your home now. We're asking people to evacuate from these areas now. If we have a look at the Warragamba Dam, in March of 2021, we were seeing 460 gigalitres of water going over the dam wall. Today, we're seeing 600 gigalitres of water going over the dam wall. In Georges River, it is likely to exceed those heights that we saw in March of 2021. We do not want to see those situations where people are on the roofs of their houses waiting to be rescued. We do not want to see those situations that we have seen in the north of the state. I plead to people, you are getting text messages. You are asked to leave now. Please do not hesitate. Follow the advice that you have been given right now. Parts of the North Richmond need to evacuate now. There is likely chance that the Redbank Dam will fail and cause flooding to the properties below the dam. It's likely that the SES will be issuing evacuation orders in these areas this evening. Residents need to be preparing to evacuate now. Do not delay your preparation and evacuate as soon as you are instructed to do so. Across the state, the SES have now 31 evacuation orders in place and warnings, and we have just issued for the entire footprint of the 2021 Hawkesbury Nepean flood areas into 9 evacuation warnings across locations outside of the Hawkesbury Nepean flood area. This is going to be a tough night for residents in that area. This is going to be a tough night for people here in New South Wales. But please, I say again, if you've received that text message, if you're getting this information, you're affected by floods in 2021, get out now. This is to ensure that you're not putting your life at risk or even putting our SES or our emergency services lives at risk. I'll now hand over to Dean from the Bureau of Meteorology.
Thank you, Deputy, and good afternoon. And as you've just heard, conditions are rapidly deteriorating for many of our rivers and catchments through parts of the Sydney Metro, Hawkesbury Nepean Valley, and also down in towards the Illawarra as well. Rain has continued to fall all day, as you've just heard. We've had widespread 50 to 100 millimetres fall since 9 o'clock this morning across the Hawkesbury Nepean catchment and for many areas further south than that as well. As of right now, a major flood warning is current for the upper parts of the Nepean River, and we're also likely to be experiencing major flooding around Menangle and also towards the North Richmond area. And as you've just heard as well, we're expecting flood levels on the Hawkesbury and Nepean to reach similar levels to that of March 2021 last year. So if you were impacted or experiencing flooding last year, please listen to all advice from emergency services. Continue to stay updated with the latest forecasts and warnings from us at the Bureau of Meteorology. We are updating them regularly and will continue to do so right through the night and into the morning hours of tomorrow and right through tomorrow as well. A dangerous situation is evolving. We expect the rain to continue tonight as well as into tomorrow as well, and things are already saturated. So I just want to reiterate as well, major flood warnings are current for parts of the Hawkesbury and Nepean, and that's going to extend in down towards the Richmond and Windsor area, and then into the Penrith area as we get into tomorrow as well. So make sure that you can access our warnings via phones or on the internet, and also listen to any advice through ABC, radios, TV, networks, whatever you can do. Just make sure you're weather aware tonight and tomorrow, because places that were impacted by the March 2021 floods are likely to be impacted again, as many rivers are likely to experience similar levels to what we saw in March 2021. We'll continue to keep you updated at the Bureau overnight and early morning, and I just want to stress it is a stressful time. We understand, the waters are rapidly rising in the upper Nepean. We've seen it rise many metres in this afternoon, and it's continuing to rapidly rise, and that water is going to continue to make its way down the Nepean. The Hawkesbury River is also rising as well, and they'll continue to come together as we move into the night and early morning hours of tomorrow. Major flood warnings likely to continue, and I'll now hand you over to the Commissioner for any of the impacts around that.
Thank you. Thanks, Deputy Premier. So as you've heard, we've just recently issued an evacuation order for the area in North Richmond, just south of the downstream of the Redbank Dam, because it may fail. I want all those residents to make sure they do evacuate from that area. We've seen the effects of this low as it's passed down through the coast from Lismore right through into the metropolitan area and now down into the south coast. We've had extensive rainfalls down in the Illawarra, the Shoalhaven and the south coast as well, but we're particularly concerned about these areas in the Hawkesbury and Nepean floodplain. Due to unprecedented traffic to the New South Wales SES website, we are having intermittent issues with that, and we are working as quickly as possible to repair that. But we will continue to put our messaging out through the social media channels and our emergency service partners. We've posted the evacuation warnings and orders to the Rural Fire Service website as well, so people can get a lot of information from that. This is a very serious situation, and the rains have been a lot heavier than we had anticipated, and we are moving very quickly to make sure the community is safe. But we need you to listen to the warnings and to heed our directions, particularly where there is an evacuation order. We've lost lives through this event, and we don't want to lose any other lives. I'll just give a rundown of those areas where we have issued evacuation warnings. Now, an evacuation warning is you don't have to evacuate straight away. You must, though, prepare. You must have an emergency kit of your important documents, things that you need, medication, driver's licence, telephone, mobile phones, chargers, etc., that you need to take with you, and things that are of value to you. What happens is we have an evacuation warning, and we're trying to give you as much notice as possible to prepare in case you do have to evacuate. And we're doing it now so that you're ready overnight and alert to what might happen if things escalate throughout the evening. We don't want to leave it to the middle of the night before you start thinking about it. You need to be prepared now. The areas are around the Hawkesbury and Nepean areas. The places include parts of Leets Vale, lower lying parts of North Richmond, parts of Emu Plains, parts of Mulgoa, Penrith, Jamison Town, Lower Portland on the eastern side of the Hawkesbury River, Cumberland Reach, Sackville, Sackville North, Wallachia Bents Basin area, Wallachia itself, Gronus Point, Cateye, Pitttown, Cornwallis and eastern part of Richmond Lowlands, Pitttown Bottoms, parts of Ebenezer and parts of Agnes Banks. So for those further details about what streets are affected by these evacuation warnings, as I said, please listen to the social media, and it will be included in the emergency alerts that we are issuing to give you the details of those areas that are affected. I also must caution you that this is an intense rainfall, and we have seen record levels that we haven't seen in the recorded history. So even though your street may not be mentioned in some of these alerts, just be aware that the waters may rise in other areas, and be alert and be prepared. But certainly in relation to that evacuation order near the Redbank Dam, it is important that you leave that area and leave it now. And those other areas, it's important that you are prepared. For the rest of the metropolitan area, there is significant rainfalls, significant flash flooding, and a danger if you are travelling around anywhere in the metropolitan area. So be careful, make sensible decisions, don't drive through floodwaters, and make sure that you and your family and friends remain safe. There will be evacuation centres open, and you can go there if you need temporary assistance, where there are people there ready to help you. But again, make sensible decisions and be careful and make sure you remain safe. Thank you.
Commissioner, where are these evacuation centres for those affected in the Hawkesbury area?
They are listed in relation to Resilience New South Wales and on our website, and we are putting it out through social media as well. The reason why I can't tell you exactly is it depends on where the rains are, where the roads are cut, and so there are decisions made in relation to the most appropriate centres near these areas that are being discussed and outlined today, to make sure that people can actually get to those evacuation centres where there will be food and warmth and people to help you.
And ample notice given to those living in low-lying areas around North Richmond, near the rivers. Any estimate as to how many people could be affected by this?
I don't have the estimates because we've just done this modelling in relation to the advice from the Bureau of Meteorology late this afternoon. We wanted to get out straight away and let the community know about those areas, but there are quite a few 100,000 people affected by these warnings that we are putting out now.
And maybe this might be for Dean, with the rainfall, with the affecting the dam that could fail, any expectations when and if it does fail?
Yeah, that's something you'd have to talk to about Water in New South Wales. But what I can say is the rain is going to continue to fall tonight and tomorrow, as you've already heard, and that's going to lead to increased stresses on not only the rivers but also dams in the area as well. But for more information on that, I think it'd be good to contact Water New South Wales.
Okay, and Commissioner, I was hoping to ask just about the Illawarra region, if possible.
Yes.
Any warnings in place there, or how many people affected?
There is a flood warning for the whole of the south coast, from Illawarra, Wollongong, Shoalhaven and down to the Victorian border, and a particularly serious major flood warning outlined for the Bega River down in the south. There's already signs of flooding in those areas. We've had a small landslide at the Kiama Bends on the highway. The road was cut, but I believe there's one lane open now. So I suppose in relation to the roads, I would remind people that Traffic New South Wales has live information so that you can make sure that where you are travelling, if you have to travel, and it is essential, that you know where you can go and where the dangers are and where the roads are cut.
And Minister, I know, Deputy Premier, I know that the focus has been on the far north coast. Is that now shifting towards the Hawkesbury region, or a resource is simply stretched looking after both areas at the moment?
Well, resources will continue to remain in the north of the state. We know that those communities have got a long way to go before they even recover. We are still rescuing people, still responding to calls in that area. Our focus at the moment obviously is as well in Sydney and will continue on the south coast. These rain bands that we see are actually moving very slowly. We're seeing quite heavy rainfall that has continued throughout the day, more than has been predicted, and it's probably our worst fears to actually sending out these alerts to so many people at this time of the night.
And do we think it's going to be worse than last year's floods around the Windsor, Richmond area?
Well, it is concerning at the moment that when you have a look at the levels of water that are going over Warragamba Dam, 460 gigalitres in March of 2021. Today, late this afternoon, it was 600 gigalitres of water going over the dam. If it continues to rain heavy overnight and it continues to rain heavy tomorrow, we could actually see some of that flooding exceeding what we saw in 2021. But what we want at the moment is people to remain calm, for people to actually follow the advice that is being issued to ensure that people can actually keep safe. And that is what we want for everyone. This is about protecting lives. This is about making sure that people are following the orders that are put in place to keep safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.